There are two sets of rules in every GMC shop. The rules they follow on your truck, factory spec, dealer approved, warranty safe, and the rules they follow on their own truck parked out back. The one with 15 modifications your service advisor pretends don't exist. Every mechanic's Sierra breaks at least 6 of GM's official recommendations. The cheapest one costs $0. The last one saves $10,000. Number 15. Running thinner oil than the factory specification. GM specs 5W30 for the Gen 4 5.3 and 6.2. It's printed in the owner's manual. It's what the dealer pours in. And it's what most mechanics put in customer trucks because that's the book answer. On their own trucks, many mechanics run 0W20 instead. Same Dexos 1 certification, same additive package in the premium synthetics, but thinner at cold start, which means faster flow to the top end, the cam lobes, the lifters, the valve train, during the first 60 seconds when the majority of engine wear occurs. The oil reaches the AFM lifter galleries faster on a January morning. By the time the engine is at operating temperature, both weights perform identically. Is it factory spec? No. Does the engine care? The mechanics who do it on their own trucks every 5,000 miles don't seem worried. Factory spec protects GM's lawyers. Operating temperature protects the engine. The mechanic's oil doesn't match the sticker under the hood. There's a reason for that. Number 14. Permanently disabling auto start-stop. Every 2019 and newer Sierra with the 5.3 or 6.2 has auto start-stop. The engine shuts off at red lights to save fuel. The engine restarts when you lift the brake pedal. GM says it saves fuel. Owners say it drives them insane. The shutter on restart, the half-second delay when the light turns green, the wear on the starter motor cycling hundreds of extra times per year. GM added a dash button to temporarily disable it, but it resets every time you start the truck. Every single time. Mechanics install a plug-in module, Auto Stop Eliminator or equivalent, for $50 to $150. Plugs into the OBD port or a dedicated harness. Remembers your preference. Start-stop stays off permanently without pressing the button every drive. GM added a feature nobody wanted. Mechanics remove it before the first oil change. This next one costs a little more and prevents the most expensive repair on the engine. Number 13. The AFM or DFM disabler. $240 to $270. Plugs into the OBD port. Keeps all 8 cylinders firing all the time. The cylinder deactivation system that causes $3,000 to $5,000 in lifter repairs, disabled permanently while the device is connected. Every mechanic who works on GMV8s and owns one personally has this installed. Not some of them, every single one. They've seen the inside of too many 5.3s with collapsed lifters and ground down cam lobes to gamble on their own truck. The dealer charges $3,000 to $5,000 to fix what 270 prevents. That's not a trick. That's math they won't show you on the service menu. Number 12 is the one they take off before every dealer visit. Number 12, an oil catch can that gets removed before warranty service. A catch can intercept oil vapor from the PCV system before it recirculates into the intake. On GMV8s with AFM and DFM, that vapor coats intake valves, the throttle body, and creates carbon deposits over time. The catch can traps it. Mechanics install them on their own trucks. Mishimoto, UPR, Elite Engineering, $150 to $300. But before a dealer visit, they unbolt it in 5 minutes. 2 bolts, 2 hose clamps, done. The can goes in the toolbox. The factory PCV hoses reconnect. The dealer sees a stock engine bay. After the visit, the can goes right back on. They clean your intake for $300 an hour. They prevent it on their own trucks for $150. Stay with me here. Number 11 is the most controversial trick on this entire list. Number 11, running an E85 blend in a non-flex fuel truck. Not a full tank of E85. That would damage fuel system seals on a non-flex fuel Sierra. A 30 to 50% blend, topping off with E85 on top of regular 87 octane. The result is roughly E30 to E50, an effective octane rating around 95 to 100. Premium octane performance at regular fuel prices. Why mechanics do it? Higher octane reduces knock tendency, especially under load. The engine runs slightly cooler, and the cost per gallon is lower than buying 93 octane at the pump. Here's the caveat I have to be honest about. Non-flex fuel trucks don't have an ethanol content sensor. The ECU can't adjust fuel trims for the higher ethanol content. Short term, the engine runs fine. Long term, higher ethanol content is more corrosive to fuel system seals, injector O-rings, and fuel lines not designed for it. Most mechanics who do this run the blend occasionally, not every tank, and they monitor fuel trims with a scan tool. I talked to a shop owner in Texas who's been blending E30 in his personal Sierra for 4 years, 87,000 miles, no fuel system issues, no check engine lights. His reasoning: the 5.3 runs cleaner on higher octane, the cost per tank is $8 to $12 less than buying 93, and he checks his long-term fuel trims every oil change with a blue driver. If they drift beyond 5%, he stops blending. They haven't drifted yet. 93 octane performance at 87 prices. The risk is real. The savings are real. The mechanic decides which matters more. Number 10. Deleting the front air dam. That plastic panel hanging below the front bumper on every Sierra. The air dam. GM puts it there for one reason: aerodynamics during EPA fuel economy testing. It directs airflow under the truck to reduce drag, helps GM hit corporate fuel economy targets by a fraction of a mile per gallon. Mechanics take it off in the parking lot the day they buy the truck. 4 bolts, 2 minutes, $0. Why? It hangs lower than the front bumper. It scrapes on driveways, speed bumps, parking blocks, and anything off-road. It cracks, drags, and looks terrible after one winter. Removing it gives you 1 to 2 inches of effective ground clearance without touching the suspension. No mechanical impact, no engine impact, no performance change. The fuel economy difference without it may be half a mile per gallon at highway speed. Most mechanics consider that an acceptable trade for not hearing plastic scrape every time they pull into a parking lot. GM put it there for the EPA. Mechanics take it off before lunch. Number 9. Hand torquing lug nuts instead of using an impact gun. This is the $30 trick that prevents $300 in brake work, and it's the one that frustrates mechanics the most when they see a customer truck come in from a tire shop. GM specs 140 pound-feet on most Sierra lug nuts. A tire shop with an impact gun hits 200, 250, sometimes over 300. The lugs are tight, the wheels aren't going anywhere, but the rotor is now clamped unevenly against the hub. That uneven clamping creates a high spot. The high spot causes pulsation under braking. The pulsation gets called warped rotors, and the customer pays $300 to $600 for a brake job that was caused by a tire rotation. Every mechanic owns a torque wrench. $25 to $40. Every lug nut gets 140 pound-feet. Every rotor stays flat. A $30 tool prevents a $300 brake job. I'm not done yet. Number 8. Changing transmission fluid at 50,000 miles instead of trusting GM's lifetime fill recommendation. GM calls the fluid in the 8L90 and 10L80 sealed for life on some applications. No dipstick, no recommended change interval in the maintenance schedule. The implication: the fluid lasts forever. Pull the drain plug at 50,000 miles. Look at the fluid. It's brown. It smells burnt. It's full of microscopic clutch material and friction modifier breakdown. That's the fluid GM says lasts forever. $150 to $250 for a drain, filter, and refill with quality synthetic ATF at 50 to 60,000 miles. A transmission rebuild when that lifetime fluid finally gives up. $3,500 to $5,500. GM says lifetime. Mechanics say 50,000. The brown fluid tells you who's right. Quick thing, if you're realizing your mechanic knows things your dealer isn't telling you, that's the whole point of this channel. Drop a comment. How many of these 15 are on your truck right now? And hit subscribe. I break down the insider knowledge every week that saves you thousands. Let's keep going. The next 7 get even more impactful. Number 7. A custom tune specifically for tow haul shift logic. $400 to $800 for a quality calibration from HP Tuners EFI Live, or a reputable tuner. And the first thing mechanics dial in isn't horsepower. It's how the transmission shifts under towing load. Factory shift logic on GM trucks prioritizes fuel economy. Soft shifts, early upshifts, converter unlocked as long as possible. Under towing load, this strategy causes gear hunting, lazy downshifts, and excessive clutch slip that generates heat. A custom tow haul calibration firms the shifts, adjusts line pressure under load, locks the converter earlier on the highway, and programs downshift points that respond when you need engine braking. Not 2 seconds after. The transmission works with the load instead of fighting it. Mechanics know how the transmission works, so they tell it how to shift. The dealer tells it how to get good gas mileage on a test drive. Number 6. An auxiliary transmission cooler. $80 to $200 for the cooler, lines, and hardware. Mounts in front of the AC condenser. Drops transmission fluid temperature 20 to 40 degrees under load. Here's what the numbers look like. Factory cooler only, towing 6,000 pounds on a summer day. Fluid temperature hits 220 to 240 degrees. Add an aftermarket TrueCool or Hayden cooler in line. Same load, same day, fluid stays at 180 to 200. That 40-degree difference is the difference between fluid that lasts and fluid that breaks down. Every mechanic who tows with a personal Sierra has one. Before shocks, before exhaust, before anything visible. Because they've rebuilt enough transmissions to know what 240 degrees does to fluid and what degraded fluid does to clutch packs. The factory cooler integrated into the radiator handles daily driving. Add a trailer, July heat, and a long grade. The factory cooler falls behind. The aftermarket cooler catches what the factory can't. $150 to prevent a $4,000 rebuild. That's not a modification, that's math. Number 5. A full ECU retune. $400 to $800. The mod every mechanic has on their own Sierra and denies having at the dealer counter. A custom calibration on the 5.3 adds 15 to 30 horsepower, sharpens throttle response, firms transmission shifts, disables a AFM or DFM through software, permanently, not through a plug-in, and removes the torque management that GM programs in to make the truck feel soft and smooth on a dealership test drive. The difference from the driver's seat is immediate. Before the tune, you press the gas and there's a half-second delay. The transmission shifts soft, almost lazy. You floor it to merge and the truck hesitates. After the tune, throttle response is instant. Shifts snap. Downshifts happen when you ask, not a second later. The truck feels like it lost 500 pounds. Every mechanic who tunes their Sierra says the same thing. This is how GM should have shipped it. Here's the thing, the tune also adjusts fuel maps for the modifications already on the truck. Intake, exhaust, cooler. Everything works together instead of fighting the factory calibration that doesn't know the parts have changed. GM tracks the flash count on the ECU. It increments with every rewrite and doesn't reset. But tunes can be returned to stock before a dealer visit. And a flash count alone doesn't prove what was written. The mod every mechanic has and denies at the dealer. The mod that makes every other modification work better. And the one GM wishes didn't exist. Number 4. Aftermarket ceramic brake pads instead of factory semi-metallic. $40 to $80 for a set. PowerStop Z26 Akabono Pro Act Wagner Thermo Quiet Ceramic. Drop-in replacement, same installation, completely different stopping experience. GM specs semi-metallic pads from the factory because they're cheap to manufacture and they work adequately across all conditions. Ceramic pads cost more per set, but produce less brake dust. Your wheels stay cleaner for months instead of weeks. They handle heat better under repeated hard stops, and they're significantly quieter. No metallic squeal on cold mornings. On a Sierra that weighs 5,200 to 5,400 pounds, the difference in stopping confidence between factory semi-metallic and quality ceramic pads is noticeable from the first brake application. Shorter pedal travel, more progressive feel, more consistent performance when hot. GM specs the cheapest pad that passes their liability threshold. Mechanics spec the one that actually stops best. Number 3. Removing catalytic converter heat shields that rattle. The factory heat shields wrapped around the catalytic converters are thin stamped metal designed to protect surrounding components from exhaust heat. After 5 to 8 years of thermal cycling, road salt, and vibration, the spot welds crack. The shield loosens, and it rattles. metallic buzzing on cold start, over bumps, or at specific RPMs that sounds like something is broken. Dealers diagnose it correctly: loose heat shield. Then they quote the full exhaust section replacement because the shield isn't sold separately on most applications. $400 to $1,200 to fix a rattle. Mechanics cut the loose shield off with a reciprocating saw. 5 minutes, $0. The catalytic converter itself doesn't need the shield to function. Modern converters are designed to operate at temperature without external shielding on most applications. The shield exists as an extra precaution, not a structural necessity. Mechanics choose silence, and they choose it for free. Number 2, welding exhaust leaks instead of replacing the section. An exhaust leak at a flange gasket, a cracked weld, or a small rust-through hole. The dealer approach: replace the exhaust section. $400 to $1,200 for parts and labor depending on location and pipe. The mechanic's approach: $20 to $50 at a muffler shop. A bead of MIG weld over the crack, a new gasket for the flange, a patch panel tacked over the rust hole. Takes 20 minutes, holds for years. And the exhaust performs identically to new because the repair doesn't change the pipe diameter, the routing, or the catalytic converter. The repair manual says, replace. The mechanic who's paying out of his own pocket says, weld. The exhaust doesn't know the difference. $800 by the book, $20 the way that works. And number 1, the most important thing every mechanic does to their own Sierra, and the one that ties every trick on this list together. Number 1, the full day one protocol. The combination that every mechanic installs or performs on a Sierra the day they buy it. This isn't one modification, it's the system. Every trick on this list that matters most, combined into a single day one investment that transforms the ownership math for the life of the truck. AFM or DFM disabler, $240 to $270. Prevents the $3,000 to $5,000 lifter failure that defines GMV8 ownership. Non-negotiable. Goes on before the first drive home. Full fluid service, engine oil in the correct weight, transmission fluid and filter, transfer case, front and rear differentials, coolant, brake fluid. $350 to $550 for everything at an independent shop. Fresh fluid in every system simultaneously. The transmission shifts crisper. The differentials are quiet. The brakes respond quicker. It's a reset button on every system the previous owner may have neglected. Oil catch can, $150 to $200. Intercepts the oil vapor that would coat the intake over the next 100,000 miles. Goes on day one. Comes off before dealer visits, goes back on after. Ceramic brake pads, $40 to $80 per axle. Better stopping, less dust, quieter operation. Replaces whatever worn or cheap pads the previous owner left. Total, $870 to approximately $1,100. On a truck that costs $9,000 to $18,000 for a GMT 900 or $18,000 to $30,000 for a K2XX, that's a 5 to 10% investment that eliminates the two biggest failure modes, refreshes every fluid, protects the intake, and upgrades the brakes. Here's the math that makes this the most important trick on this list. Without the day one protocol, the average Sierra owner spends $3,000 to $5,000 on a lifter job, $1,500 to $3,000 on a transmission service they put off too long, $500 to $1,000 on brake work they could have prevented. That's $5,000 to $9,000 in avoidable costs over 150,000 miles. With the day one protocol, $1,000 on day one. And most of those costs disappear entirely. Let me put that in perspective. A GMT 900 Sierra at $14,000 plus $1,000 day one protocol equals $15,000 total. That same truck without the protocol, $14,000 plus $5,000 in lifter repair plus $2,000 in deferred transmission service equals $21,000. The mechanic's truck costs $15,000. The owner who skipped the protocol pays $21,000 for the same truck, same engine, same miles, $6,000 apart. The only difference is what happened on day one. Every mechanic does this on their own truck, not some of it, all of it. Day one, before the first highway drive, before the first tow, before anything else. Because they've seen what happens to the trucks that skip it, and they've priced the repairs. $1,000 on day one to save $10,000 over the life of the truck. That's not a trick. That's the smartest money you'll ever spend on a Sierra. 15 tricks, 2 sets of rules. The rules your dealer follows on your truck: factory spec, warranty safe, profitable. And the rules mechanics follow on their own trucks, the ones that actually protect the engine, the transmission, and the wallet. The gap between those 2 sets of rules is where your money goes. Now you know what's on the other side. If you want the full breakdown of mods that are illegal by law, not just against GM's recommendations, watch 10 illegal GMC mods that actually work. And for the modifications your dealer actively bans and the workarounds that exist, watch 5 banned GMC modifications that actually work. 2 sets of rules. Now you have both. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.